And here with a video pre-NBA Finals. This video will be posted prior to the NBA Finals, explaining why I am picking the Celtics in 6 games to win. Now, if you watched the other video, which I know that you didn't, all right, for the Eastern Conference Finals, I actually picked the Heat to win in 5 games. And the reason why I did that is because I felt as though that the Heat, from a defensive standpoint, will be able to stifle Brown and Tatum long enough to win the series. And the series went 7 games. Now, like, the downfall of the Heat, all right, if you want me to go over to the Heat, I'll go over to the Heat. Let me see. The downfall of the Heat is the fact that, like, Tyler Hero was not really a big factor in the series. I mean, he really wasn't. And Kyle Lowry was also not really a big factor. So you had it up to Jimmy Butler, and he's just carrying. So that's the reason why the Heat went down, because they lacked that secondary scoring. All right, so I'm using NBA 2K to basically explain as to why I think the Celtics will win this series in 6 games. All right, let me make sure that I point out the flaws in the Golden State Warriors first. Okay. Now, if you watch the series with them and the Grizzlies, right? Like, the clear weakness of the Golden State Warriors was their front court. All right. Now you see Draymond Green here. This is this is NBA 2K. This is basically the best player at the position, right? Or the starting lineups or what have you. Draymond Green could not really handle Steven Adams when he was inserted into the Grizzlies series, and of course the Grizzlies were missing Durant, not Durant, but Morant. I always get those two mixed up, Durant, and they basically got outgunned at the end of the series because they weren't able to keep up from a scoring standpoint. But when the Grizzlies were able to slow the game down at least a little bit, work from the inside out, they just kind of ran the Warriors off the court. Like, like it was one of those things where it was a chink in the armor of the Warriors. And like, when you look at the Warriors roster, you see Kevin Looney, of course, you see Draymond Green here. Outside of that, like, Beats Elisa's not really like a traditional big man. He's more of a stretch five. That's the reason why I wanted to use the 2K definitions to basically explain to people as the reason why I feel this way. They don't really have like that traditional paint piece, with Wiseman being hurt. He's been hurt all year, so they don't really have that true inside five or that stretch five. Draymond Green is serviceable, but he's not. He's kind of not the guy that he was a few years ago. He's kind of taken a few steps back, but like you're going back to Boston, right? Going all the way back to Boston here to just kind of show you guys Al Horford and Robert Williams. They also have Tice, and they also have the other guy named Williams, Grant Williams. Williams and Williams. I apologize to Grant Williams because I know people probably might watch this video in particular. So Grant Williams, he can also double as a stretch from the 3 to the 4, which is more so what Horford does from the 4 to the 5. And Robert Williams is like a straight up 5. So, in my opinion, I think that Robert Williams and Al Horford are the difference in this series. Because I'm expecting for Brown to be up and down, right? He's one of those players that he's very streaky. Same thing with Tatum. So when they both go cold, they need to be able to go inside and out. Smart is the defensive player of the year. All right. I don't know why he's rated as a 79, but that's a subject for a completely different video, right? He's going to be tasked with guarding either Step or Clay. Now, one of these dudes for sure I think is going to be taken out of the series. And if I had to guess, I would guess that he will be on Step. So this is probably going to be a series that Clay's just going to have to show up and show out. But the problem is that Jalen Brown's got the length. He's got the length to stay up with him. So does Tatum at 6'8" and 6'6" respectively. Marcus Smart is not necessarily a big, huge guard. He's like a pest. He's like a Patrick Beverly type, but he's more stronger than a Pat Beverly. He's a better shooter than a Pat Beverly. This is not to bury Pat Beverly. It's just this is just to say that he's better equipped to guard a premier scorer than those other guys. You understand what I'm trying to say? Young and athletic, no doubt. All right. You can also look at Derek White here, who will be a factor in the series as a 6 man type. Pritchard is another guy that you probably had to look for mid ranges and threes. As I already mentioned, Grant Williams. I would classify Grant Williams as a stretch four, right? You got Tice, and then Naismith is somebody that hasn't really been a factor all this year. So this is what their rotation looks like. We can go back over to the Warriors, right? And we could talk about the Warriors rotation and what their rotation kind of looks like going up against. And like I spoke about Wiseman being hurt all year. You got Kaminga, who's been serviceable. Gary Payton, who is not Gary. Yeah, Gary Payton is also Gary Payton's son. They call him Mitten, right? So when you look at the rotation here, you got Otto Porter, Kevin Looney, right? And Otto offers like that stretch four type of ordeal there. But when you look at the both of these rosters, like of course the the Warriors are going to look a little bit more deeper. But when it comes to size and athleticism inside, like Boston clearly has that advantage, and that's probably what's going to be the tall tale difference in this series. So that's the reason why I'm picking the Celtics to win in six. All right, if let's say it like this, if the Warriors win this series, it'll probably be in six, and it'll probably be because Klay Thompson went crazy. It'll probably be because Klay Thompson went crazy, or Jordan Poole just kind of shadow Step because Step would be basically locked down. That's basically what I would think. That because him and Smart's got the weight advantage. He doesn't have the height advantage. He's got the age advantage. He's got the strength advantage. It's going to be a tough time for either Klay or Step. I would just assume that it would be Step that would be guarded by Smart because they're the same height. And then you'll probably have Jaylen Brown on a Klay Thompson. And then Wiggins is probably more of the wild card here, because you're looking at Tatum and you're saying Tatum should be able to be in position long enough to stop him or be able to basically kind of shield off on Jordan Poole. I don't think I think from that second wave of scores, I don't think that there's anybody that can really stop Jordan Poole. So if Jordan Poole gets loose and Klay Thompson gets loose, you don't probably necessarily need for Curry or Wiggins to really be big factors in this series. When you go back over to Boston, the reason why Boston is in the NBA Finals is more so because of the fact that they have this advantage here. Robert Williams or Horford. You look over at Grant Williams, who's been, very, very serviceable this year, off the bench and in the starting role as well when Smart hasn't been there. I don't want this video to be too long. I just want to break this down. Derek White is also a wild card for the Celtics, but I'm just looking at the defensive outlook of these guys. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think that they were strong enough to get past the Heat, but the Heat was missing scoring. They were missing secondary scoring. And you just got to hope with the Celtics that they don't miss the secondary scoring of Jaylen Brown, because I think that one of these guys might get locked down too, maybe by Draymond Green. That's something that you have to factor in, that Draymond Green might be on the edges trying to take Tatum or Brown both out of the game and force Horford or Smart or even Derek White, one of these other guys, to kind of step up and supplement for that either primary or secondary scoring. So that's the reason why I feel as though the Celtics can win this series in 6 games. Let me know how you guys feel down below. This might be a multiple upload day. I don't know. I have another video that's like this NBA 2K related, but it's not. That's yeah. I'm sorry, but that's NBA 2K related. So just be on the lookout for that. All right. Until next time. Peace out.